conference. I want to thank you for listening to us and getting caught up on some of the things that are going on in the city of Topeka. The city manager and I have a number of topics that we'd like to talk about. And so we'll start off with something that still is on everybody's mind and we're wanting to know what the progress is, and that's the process for the selection of a new chief of police for the city of Topeka. So, city manager?
Thank you, Mayor, and good morning, everybody. So as far as the update on the police chief, applications closed. We received 18 applicants. As far as the process, we're vetting those applicants, and we've actually narrowed down the process to a total of 8 what we're considering semifinalists. They are working with our executive recruiting firm, SGR, to submit follow-up information, and based upon that information, which we should receive this week, we hope to narrow down that list to 4 to 5 candidates or 4 to 5 finalists. And then that group we will bring forward to meet with the community November 6th from 5:30 to 7 at the Topeka Hotel Topeka, and then the following day those candidates will be going through panel interviews. There's some community panels, there's actually a law enforcement panel, there is a media panel, and then the Public Health and Safety Committee along with the mayor will form another panel for that interview process. And then that evening of the 7th, they will be able to meet an executive session meeting with the governing body for additional questions. So that's where we're at with the police chief. Mayor, I don't know if you wanted to talk about some of the recent, I guess some of the recent events that we've had to include, like the big boy.
Yeah, I do. Thank you, Dr. Perez. I want to just follow up on something what the city manager talked about, though. And he's done a really good job since coming to Topeka to really give a number of opportunities for the public to give their input into what we're doing as a governing body and how we're selecting individuals, how we're moving forward with a lot of the things in the city of Topeka. And those invitations to the public are for everyone. I hope that people understand that this is their opportunity to speak directly about topics of concern for them. And obviously, selection of a chief of police is one. So I would really encourage people to take that opportunity to come and meet the candidates, be honest and forthright with the candidates, talk about things that have concern so that as we follow up as a governing body in our selection process, we get that input and that intake. We don't just discount it, don't just let you talk and then don't record it. There's a record of the questions asked, the concerns that are expressed. So that way we can address them when we're going through the process and making the final selection. So I really encourage the public to take advantage of these opportunities, because Dr. Perez has really done a good job of engaging the community as often as he can for a number of things. Later on, we'll have that same opportunity for budgets. And again, another opportunity for the public to step forward on that. But Dr. Perez will speak to that in more detail. And as he just alluded to, we've had a number of events that have happened in Topeka that really have been fun and exciting. The arrival of the big boy locomotive in North Topeka on the Union Pacific Railway was really well attended. Had a number of people there. Fortunately, Dr. Perez found a spot for me to park, because I don't know if I would have been able to join everybody, but there were so many people there. And they really enjoyed that. And, you know, that's another thing that reminds me about how Topekans feel about themselves and that location in North Topeka. They really are nostalgic about it. And so when something like that happens, it's really good to see that we have the turnout and participation that we had there. If you look on our Facebook page, Topeka Facebook page, you see a lot of good pictures of the crowd that was there. I mean, it was all we could do to keep people off the tracks so we could get the train to come in. But it really was an excellent event. So I'm glad that they made the stop here. And look forward to it again in the future. They also presented the city with a special coin celebrating their anniversary, and that's in the mayor's office. So if you have an opportunity to visit the mayor's office, you'll get a chance to see it, and as well as some other things that have been given to the city of Topeka by visitors here. Another thing that I was able to do since our last conference was to meet our new executive director for the Topeka Performing Arts Center. The city is very supportive of the center and has really done a lot to help keep the maintenance to that facility up and to a comfortable and really enjoyable experience when you go there. The new executive director, Daniel Kays, got to meet him along with other leaders in the city, and he's really excited to be here. And he comes with a lot of experience and some successful experience, not just time in. He's been able to do a lot of good things. He comes from, I believe it's Iola, Kansas, is where he's moving here to Topeka and excited about coming here. So I'm glad to see that we have him here in Topeka, and I try to attend as many of those events as I can, and made it clear that we want those events to be representative of the entire community, so everybody has something that they can come to and enjoy. Also did something I've done before, and that is to go to the Positive Connections facility here in Topeka. You may or may not be familiar with Positive Connections, but they serve a very necessary resource for a population, not just in Topeka, but in surrounding areas. They provide health care and resources and information to people who may have been afflicted with some of the not just COVID-related illnesses, but some of the issues that are presented in a population of the LGBTQ community. And they're really done a great job, not only in making themselves available as a facility here in Topeka, but they did some work and found a grant and were able to obtain a mobile unit. And I got to walk through it. It's pretty impressive. And they take that unit on the road, obviously, to different communities and visit the communities there and give them the same attention to care and health care that we are lucky to have here in the city of Topeka. They're kind of an unsung unit, but I appreciate their efforts, and I know that some of the people I visited with there have been with that group for a number of years. So they're dedicated to providing all that health care for us. One of the other things now we'll switch back to city manager for, and that's Topeka Hotel. A lot of people have questions about how we're doing, how the process is going, and the city manager can fill us in with some of those details.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mayor. I just want to echo your comments about Mr. Kays. My wife and I had an opportunity to meet with his family and him, and definitely excited about what he can bring to the TPAC. I kind of joked with him, and I was like, "Hey, like we need to pack the TPAC now." And so he was really on board with that. So along those lines, with our tourism and entertainment, the Hotel Topeka, I do want to mention that we are going to be hosting a couple of events. Halloween party at the hotel on Thursday, October 31st, and then with the rodeo that will be here in town November 1st through 3rd at the Domer Center. We're taking that opportunity to host a couple of country dance hall pop-up events with live entertainment. I believe on Friday night we'll have Cleveland Blue, and then on Saturday night we'll have Paradise Band. And we'll have DJs at all three of those events. So if you're looking for something to do that Halloween weekend, come see us at the Hotel Topeka. Along those lines, last last press conference, we discussed the RFP that we had on the street for brokerage services. I am happy to report back that we received 3 proposals. The team is working through those submissions right now to see what will be most advantageous for the city of Topeka. So we'll be working on those proposals and reviewing those proposals over the next couple weeks. Lastly, to kind of build on the momentum of our first joint City of Topeka, Shawnee County Commission and Topeka City Council meeting in which we discussed homelessness, we look forward to continuing our collaborative discussions with Shawnee County on how we move forward with any future investments in the Hotel Topeka and also the Maynard Conference Center. Mayor, I don't know if you had any comments on that.
Well, no, I just think that it's important to note that oftentimes as elected officials, we hear feedback from the public that suggests that maybe the city and the county aren't visiting with each other on a regular basis, and maybe a little critical that we are working in different directions. But that's not what we're doing. I'm pleased that the current commissioners have continued to be open-minded about some things that affect not just Topeka but Shawnee County, and they see a role that they can play with the city, and have been willing to talk about that. And we've had some good conversations. I think that as we go down the road, it's even more important that as we work towards solving the problems that we all experience, that we can continue that open dialogue. I know elections are coming up, and however that turns out, I want to encourage those elected officials to continue to work with the governing body here in the city of Topeka. So that's something, I'm glad you brought that up. The one thing I wanted to bring up, you talked about the hotel. I just came from a meeting with the International Downtown Association group. They have different representatives from Virginia, Wichita, other places, and they're an organization that go around and voluntarily, at the invitation of some of the communities, will come in, take a look at their downtown, make an assessment in their eyes, and give us some thoughts and ideas of where we can do better, what we might be missing that is right in front of our eyes, so that we can continue the momentum that Topeka has experienced in developing our downtown. I think it's encouraging that when we do have events, I see a lot of people participating. As the weather changes, those events might be fewer because of the weather, but I still am looking forward to seeing a lot of people downtown, especially when it comes to the parades for Christmas and so forth. So having them in town to give us an objective view of our downtown and how we're operating, I appreciate their time in doing so. And they're going to submit a written report to our office, and myself and city manager and others will look at it, and with the business leaders to see what we can do to go through their recommendations. So I want to acknowledge their presence here in the city of Topeka. Another thing I might want to talk about is that we as an event, I went to, along with the city manager and others, to the Crime Stoppers Chili Feed fundraiser. Crime Stoppers has been around Topeka for decades, literally, and it has been a significant participant in helping to solve crimes in the city of Topeka by offering rewards to anonymous tippers who will call in information that lead to felony arrests and convictions for some of the crimes that Topekans have experienced. They've really tried to do their part. Oftentimes citizens wonder what they can do to help with the crime effort in the city of Topeka. You know, they can't run around with a badge and drive black and white like everybody else, like the police officers, but they can contribute by supporting an organization like Crime Stoppers. $2, $3, $1, it all adds up so that they have a pot of money that if there's somebody who is more inclined to come forward, if there's a monetary gain for them, then we'll take it so that it can solve a crime in the city of Topeka. And I think to date, I had some quick numbers here. They haven't really totaled what they were able to raise during this recent chili feed, but for this year, they've paid out nearly $3,000 in tips leading to felony arrests. And that's important. That's public participation in fighting crime. So whenever you see an opportunity to support Crime Stoppers, either through their fundraisers or something that you've seen and know about but are hesitant to share with the police and authorities, know that this is an anonymous program. You don't have to give your name. You just have, I think, give you a number so they can use that if they want to contact you so you can get further information, or if in fact your tips lead to an arrest or a conviction, they'll be able to contact you for the award that they can present to you for that assistance. So keep that in mind. Crime Stoppers is an organization that has been here for decades, and I'm appreciative of the people who put in their time to keep that business running, and to the citizens who have contributed to that effort. So I want to make sure that we get acknowledged for their part in solving crime in the city of Topeka. There will be other opportunities that they'll bring forward so that not just an annual event, we can do a couple more to help raise those funds. And I think the city manager is going to talk a little bit about our Polk Quincy Viaduct.
Yeah, I was going to throw out a little bit of kudos, a little bit of shout outs to some of our teams working across the city. First shout out will definitely go to our grants management team and our teams who work on grants. We were recently awarded $4 million to enhance our child safety and housing health through our Housing Services Division. The $4 million will go towards lead hazard reduction across our communities. We also received $1.7 million of funding for bicycle and pedestrian projects. That was part of an announcement that Governor Kelly recently announced as far as awards throughout the state. And Topeka received about, like I said, $1.72 million to go towards, I believe, 3 projects within the city. Next shout out will go to our community engagement team. We are hosting, co-hosting with Go Topeka, a second supplier diversity event for small business owners. The workshop will be on November 13th from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the Bishop Professional Development Center. To register, you can visit the city's website. For the teams that have been working on our fleet garage relocation project as part of the Polk Quincy Viaduct project, the council and governing body approved a new location for us at the Old White Lakes Mall site. That work is supposed to start this coming Monday as far as the demolition. And then along the lines of the Polk Quincy Viaduct project, we continue working on the utility relocations. Contractors on 3 sections have requested I guess an extension on the timeline. So rather than open in October, they're scheduled to open in late November. Those areas that are being affected include 2nd Street from Harrison to Kansas, on Kansas from 1st to 3rd, and then on Monroe from 3rd to 6th. And lastly, I'll just share that the teams continue to work on finishing out the major street projects. I know Topeka Boulevard has been a question that we received more than once as far as the timelines, and so I believe we recently opened a pretty large section partially, and so we'll continue working aggressively to finish up that work by probably beginning of December.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned the work that's going to be happening downtown with Polk Quincy Viaduct, because it's important for us to let the citizens know that it's coming so that they can make alternate routes and plan for how they're going to get to where they usually take your usual routes. And consider that the impact is to not just to private citizens who are going to and from restaurants or whatever. It's important for us, for the businesses that are located in those areas, that they continue to operate with their customers being able to get to them, so that they can not experience a loss into their business, because we still need to support those businesses as much as we can in spite of all these changes to the routes that we have. It's vital to their existence, and we want to make sure that we don't experience some loss of businesses because of that effort, because it's a necessary effort, one that's kind of mandated. We really didn't have much choice in that matter, but we have the choice in making sure that we don't let businesses suffer because we can't get to them as conveniently as we used to. So keep that in mind. The one thing also that Dr. Perez talked about with the supplier training, Washburn University in the city of Topeka is also, with the School of Business, are partnering in a program on how to start a business in Topeka. And it's going to be a number of presentations held at the Topeka Public Library. There are a number of dates that can be chosen from. I think the hours are from about 5:30 to 7. You can sign up by going to our website or going to the library website or to Washburn's website and look for this, how to start your own business in Topeka. And it's important for people who are entrepreneurs who want to start a small business, something that we have really, as a administration from all the governing body, supported small businesses growth in the city of Topeka. There's plenty of room for small businesses, and we need them for our city to grow and to be prosperous. But sometimes we don't have all the information that we should have when we step into a new business. We may really be good at making the widgets, but we may not know how to finance the widgets or to keep our finances in the right place with regards to taxes and all those kinds of things, or what permits that we need. This kind of a program helps you get to where you need to be. So I encourage citizens who really want to start something, first go to these presentations, see if your idea is viable, and if it isn't, find ways to help you develop it so that it will be successful, so that when you do decide to make that jump and go into a small business operation, that you'll be successful, because that's what we want. So look for that. It's upcoming. I'm trying to think. I think it starts later on this month, the last part of October, first part of November. But check those sites out. One of them I know for sure is washburnsmallbusiness.com, and there is a phone number you can call, and that's 785-215-8375. 785-215-8375. So for all of those people who want to start a business in the city of Topeka, I encourage you to keep your ideas, and I encourage you to find out all the information that you need to make your ideas come to life, and that you'll be successful in Topeka. So I wanted to make sure that we added that our collaboration with Washburn University. The other thing that's coming up, and I'll just kind of start it off and have the city manager follow up with some detail, and that is, we mentioned before that our current form of government is up for review as mandated every 10 years, and this is the first time since our current government was put into place that we'll have that citizen review of our current government. That is a committee that will be put together from a representative cross-section of individuals in the city of Topeka that will give a review of what we do now and where we need to change, if we need to change, and make your recommendations to the governing body. And that's another thing that, again, city manager has really made open to the public invitation for those who are invited. So maybe you can speak to that, Robert, about how we'll move forward on that.
Yes, sir. So as required by the charter, every 10 years, we are required to evaluate our current form of government. The committee would be made up of 5 members of the public. Right now, we're looking at the requirements and kind of a job description, if you will, of the committee. We will be working with the governing body to take recommendations on who should participate in that committee. We're supposed to be looking for a cross-section that represents the population of Topeka. And so working through the process right now to refine how we will narrow down to the 5 committee members. Applications should be open the first week of November to the public. And we definitely want to encourage residents of Topeka. I think that's actually the most basic requirement, is just to be a resident of Topeka. Yeah. And so that'll be posted, like I said, in early November, and we'll definitely continue working with the governing body on refining that group of 5.
And thank you, and you make a good point. If you're sitting there thinking that you might want to participate but not sure about your qualifications, if you're a resident of Topeka, I don't even think you have to be registered to vote. You just have to be a resident of Topeka, and you're interested in it. When nominations open up, submit your name. Everybody has some opinion about the form of government. We want to get a good cross-section of members on that review team so that we don't have everybody nodding their head yes or no, that we have some discussion, because I think that's important for us to determine whether or not we're doing things as efficiently and as possible and equitably across the board. So give it some real thought. Again, another invitation for the public to get involved in what we do. There's one thing that I don't know that either you or I have mentioned yet, and that is a bit about the maybe some observations by the public about our riding bike lanes, that they may have been, they're in place and people wonder about whether or not they're being utilized. Well, they're new. They're new for us, to the city of Topeka, and the thought process of how we make the streets safer for everybody who uses them, both motorists and bicyclists, is important for us. So they're in place. We encourage people to note where they are, to follow the directions that those lanes give, and encourage the bikers in the city of Topeka. We're doing everything we can to make this a bike-friendly community. So utilize them. Just be careful of what you're doing. Don't assume that everybody sees you. Take all the cautionary movements that are necessary. But I think they're a good addition for our city. You see that in other cities where they have a population that sometimes they don't choose to use cars to get around their downtown or to business. They use bicycles, but they want to be safe doing that. And so it's important for us to make it safe for them. So those bike lanes are noticeable, and they're not an inconvenience. So I don't think if anybody thinks that they're impeding traffic, they really are keeping traffic safer. So I just wanted to address it quickly.
Yeah, good points.
Yeah. So if there isn't anything else, if there are some questions, we'd be more than glad to take questions.
Can you talk about where the city is for prepping the roads for winter? Might be a ways away, but we are in Kansas. It could be tomorrow.
It could be, and probably city manager would have the best take on that. But I know Mr. Trower and his crew have been preparing for this way before that question was asked. They're always on it, and they know, like you said, that overnight it can change. Maybe you want to have any specifics with Mr. Trower and his preparations?
Yeah, again, it's an annual deal. I know that we recently went to creating our own solution as far as the brine. We've done that in-house, and so it's just part of our annual preparations for the winter. Prepare for the worst and hope for the best, but the teams are very well trained on the processes, and so we'll be ready in the event that something happens.
I think that's a big step, that we're our own supplier now for the brine that we use on the streets. So that helps cut out that extra step that we might have to wait on. So that's important. I know that in the past too, I've gone out there with them, and seen how they've really changed the way they dispatch the units across the city and really have been more effective so that they're able to cover cities, some city streets a couple times if necessary, especially on the main arterials. So they've done a better job of managing the manpower that they do have there, so they're more efficient. Any other questions?
Mayor, I know you always talk about having your voice heard. They had a really huge turnout on advanced voting, over 3,000. Just talk about how great that is that the city listens to you.
That's fantastic. You know, we've experienced that before, but I think even more so now, not just in the city of Topeka, but nationwide, there has been a real surge of voter participation, anticipation more than anything. It seems like they want to make sure that they have an opportunity to express themselves through their vote. I'm glad you brought that up because Topeka has been really pretty good about that. I know even in local elections, the participation level has gone up. And that's important because I obviously think that local elections are just as important and maybe more so than some of the state and federal elections, because that is the one election that impacts you on a regular daily basis. The numbers that have been coming up, the commissioner out there, Andrew Howell, has really been, I think, pleased with the number of people who showed up. I think he did say, though, that typically about 70% of people still like to vote on election day. I'll fluctuate myself back and forth. If I know that I have other things going on in my life that might get in the way on election day, I'll go ahead and vote ahead of time just to make sure that I don't get cheated out of my chance to make my vote. And it's an important thing. I mean, you know, it falls closely to Veterans Day, and it's a reminder that there have been a number of people who have given their lives over the decades for us to have that privilege, and it is a privilege, to vote in our city elections and county elections and federal elections. And it would be a disservice to all those people who have served and continue to serve to give us that freedom for free elections. So take advantage of it. Prepare, make a plan. Some people will get together with their family and make a phone tree and call, have you voted yet? Have you voted yet? I've done that in the past with my family members. Make sure you get in there and get it done. Oh yeah, I've taken care of it. So think about it. Those are just simple things to do, but they are very important things to do. And even more so, it seems that every vote is going to be important. Some votes, some elections are won and lost by less than 100 votes. So if you're sitting there and you were hoping for your candidate to win and you didn't go vote, that's going to be something you're going to have to live with for the next 4 years. But make sure you take the time to vote, encourage others to vote. I know what I like too, I hear, is a lot of new voters, a lot of young voters just turning eligible to vote who are registering to vote, and they're ready to go. They see the purpose and need. For those of us who have voted for over decades, maybe we get a little complacent about it, but you can't. You have to take that as a high priority. So thank you for bringing that up. It's important for us to consider what's happening. Early voting has already started, and the turnout has been really good.
Can you speak on where we're at with the Crime Center surveillance network as far as residents kind of registering like home surveillance cameras? Have you received feedback, interest from the public so far?
I don't know, maybe city manager can speak to that. I haven't yet had an opportunity to speak to our interim chief.
Yeah, I can't give you specific numbers, but definitely between Shawnee County Sheriffs and TPD, we definitely had interest from private residents as far as registering their home cameras and private cameras into our overall surveillance system.
Is this something TPD and the sheriff have utilized before, or is this kind of a new program?
So it's recent. It's a recent program, and I know a lot of it was business based as far as trying to get like the first subscribers. But I know that there has been a push to get private homeowners to register their cameras as well.
could you talk a little bit about just kind of how this will kind of help with investigations, kind of help the police in their efforts, obviously as they're investigating certain crimes?
Yeah, definitely. Anytime you have camera footage of a crime that has happened, it definitely helps with the prosecution. And then also too, I think just on a proactive side of if those who might commit crimes know that there might be active cameras out there, hopefully it should serve as a deterrence as well. So hopefully it should help on both sides. Yeah.
Any other questions? No? Well, thank you for your attention, and I wish you a good week. We're finished for today. Thank you.
Thank y'all.